Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show. This is our season review. And I have a special guest with me, the one and only James Benge.
God.
How are you, man?
I'm good. I mean, if we're sort of talking on the Tuesday of
Yes.
World Cup week,
Yes.
and I kind of am like, where did the break time go between the Champions League final and the biggest tournament on earth? I feel like
There wasn't a break.
Yeah, I know. I have to say, like, so it was 63 games. I mean, obviously, I don't just cover Arsenal. It was 63 game Arsenal season. And this was probably the first season I've come out of and I've been like, oh wow, I feel like a player here. I feel like I've done the whole 63 games slog of it. It's just felt brutal.
Yeah.
And now we're going straight into the most relentless tournament on the planet. It's going to be, just bored of football, man.
Yeah, honestly speaking, I feel like this World Cup is kind of the World Cup the world deserves right now. Like, nobody's serious about anything. And the most unifying thing on the planet, the product and where it's been held, I suppose, is reflective of where the world is right now. I feel like we've earned this World Cup in the worst way, basically.
Yeah, it's the slop. It's the slop World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what was it like 10 years ago was like premium TV, premium World Cup, and now it's very much like we're on, I don't know, the Mandalorian and Grogu of World Cups. Things have been frittered away. Good things have been frittered away.
First and foremost, I love the Mandalorian. I haven't seen the film yet.
No one has.
Okay.
I've not seen it. I mean, why would I want to? It's like the World Cup. I don't want to watch all these.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 seasons I think were great. But yeah, maybe the film, maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. I don't know. But we're here to talk season review in general. We'll have a lot of Arsenal in this, but we wanted to I wanted to make James have a look at his preseason predictions. He's wincing. And we'll read through both tables. We'll read through the first one. So back in August 14th, James predicted that, that Liverpool would finish first. Arsenal would finish second. I believe it was City third.
Yeah.
Chelsea fourth. Aston Villa fifth. Oh, well done. Newcastle sixth. Brighton seventh. United eighth. And Tottenham ninth. Oh God. And Everton.
I wasn't high on them.
Yeah. Everton 10th. I think that actually came to fruition, actually.
I think they were a little lower in the end, weren't they? About 12th?
Maybe, actually. Palace 11th. Bournemouth 12th. Nottingham Forest 13th. Fulham 14th. Brentford 15th.
It's got that one right.
Yeah. 16th would be Leeds. I think that's where they end up finishing as well, actually.
That was... Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah. Wolves were 17th, West Ham 18th, and Sunderland 19th.
Burnley 20th.
Burnley 20th. So you weren't.
I was quite wrong on a lot of it.
I suppose we want to kind of focus on, I want to say like the top 4, top 5, right? So with Liverpool, some of your reasoning was obviously around their signings. Honestly speaking, at the time I was like, shit.
Yep.
I'm sure that was your feeling as well.
Yep. I think, I remember writing this and I said, like, look, it could go wrong.
Yeah.
It could be that it's impossible to replace Trent.
Yeah.
It could be that they don't have enough bodies and quality in defence and they have to deal with midfield. But I just, I don't think we thought. The funny thing is, we all sort of say like Salah dropped off and all that, and actually it wasn't even that.
No, it was everything else.
It was. I mean, Isak's injuries were worse than we expected. Verts took longer than we expected, and all those things were probably things you were like, yeah, it'll take time. It'll take time. And you know what? I just thought that like I trusted Liverpool knew what they were doing more than the evidence of this whole season. And I go right the way through to like sacking Slot because the fans didn't like it.
Yeah.
I just think a well-run club obviously like understands and values the fans and their opinion. It doesn't like make personnel decisions because fans don't like.
Nobody should really.
No, I think sacking Slot is valid, but I'm pretty certain Liverpool didn't think a week before they sacked him that that's what they were going to do.
No.
And that, like, I think you just sort of trusted that like they would go out and get Gay. They would fix problems because they've been so good at that. But the Michael Edwards Liverpool of before just didn't get a single thing wrong.
No, they got everything right pretty much.
And now they just got almost everything wrong.
Yeah.
And that I thought I couldn't see coming.
No. That honestly, that's fair. I mean, maybe it's my Arsenal bias, and obviously you as a journalist, you have to try to be impartial where you can. I never had them like winning the league title. I personally never did. But that's, again, I know as an Arsenal fan, and the way I consume the sport, I'm just like looking at it thinking, nah, they haven't got it. I'm looking at the likes of, like, you know, Curtis Jones getting quite a few minutes, thinking that's not enough for Liverpool, honestly.
I love Curtis Jones.
He's a wonderful player, but not enough. He genuinely is a wonderful player, but not enough for what they wanted to achieve. You know, him being like, you know, sharing minutes with Szoboszlai, between them going to midfield and right back and stuff like that. Yeah. Stuff like that. I'm not too high on. Obviously, you had Arsenal second. I don't blame you. 3 years running, it is the most logical conclusions to come to. We'll come back to Arsenal in 1 second, and then obviously City finishing third. I'm not surprised that, you know, they could have finished third. I don't really think they were the third best team in the league, because up until January they weren't. You know, they went to spend 100 million on two of the best players in the league comfortably just to finish second anyway. So them finishing third. I mean, talk to me, like, did you see them, I suppose, spend that money again? Like, or was it a thing where you thought, you know, Pep Guardiola would trust the squad?
I mean, until they've done bits and pieces in past Januaries, like, you know, I'm thinking like Laporte. Basically, until the January of 2025, they hadn't done anything. And you kind of like, at that point again, you were like, 2025 is exceptional. 2025 is, they need to like pull out of a massive tailspin. They need to get in the Champions League. And, you know, they were never in a risk of not qualifying for the Champions League. So I didn't really see Semenyo and Gay coming back in January.
Crazy signings. I can't believe you do that. Like, in January, those are summer signings if I've ever seen them. Like, ridiculous.
Gay in particular is sensational bit of business. I mean, that is, you know, immediately came in and the defense just went another level. Yeah, I'm not sure about Semenyo. I like him. I like him as a footballer, and like, I think there's this very interesting, when we talk about transfers, kind of people go, "Oh, this guy's great at Bournemouth," and you kind of think, "Yeah, but if I'm buying at Man City, I need to buy someone that's like already 95th percentile as the starting point of how good they have to be." Yeah, and so I do wonder if, like, I mean, you know, if Maresca is going to kind of look at Semenyo and go, I could do better in that position. But I mean, clearly he helped them. Yeah, he helped them compared to what they have.
Especially in the cups. Not so in the league. And then Chelsea, can we just laugh at them, please? Because what a ridiculous institution. I don't even know where to begin with them, honestly. I don't know if it's the cheating. I don't know if it's the way they treat academy players. I don't know if it's the way they treat managers. We spoke about Liverpool obviously getting a lot of things right in the past. Chelsea haven't got anything right in the last like 4 years. Everything's been wrong. Literally everything.
I mean, what's so interesting though is, like, it just, at that moment after the Club World Cup final, you just sort of were like, Caicedo, Fernandes, Palmer, and like, they still do. The thing is, they still have that core. Caicedo, Fernandes, Palmer. If they actually kept them, I mean, I was quite low on João Pedro, but he's a good buy. Colwill now as well, Reece James. They have like the players that they need as like
good pieces
of an 11, but their business model seems tailor-made to make that worse. What's the point of trading in and out various sort of left wingers and other centre backs and goalkeepers that don't improve the team?
No.
I mean, obviously the thing is, they should have finished fourth, and then they got a bit upset that Enzo Maresca was saying mean things about them and wanted to go to Man City. And I mean, the QE guys, whatever they are, the PE guys, are supposed to be the smartest guys in the room. And that means not getting a bit touchy because your manager's talking about taking what will be the biggest vacancy in world football. And you just go, well, if Man City want Enzo Maresca at the end of the season, that's fine. We'll let him snipe because he's fine and he'll get us.
A good coach.
It's a good coach. I don't know that he's Pep Guardiola. No. I'm not sure who is. So you just sort of let him snipe away, ride out the season, get your top 4, get your top 5, and you don't do daft things like hire someone who, again, I think Liam Rosinha could prove to be a good coach, but I don't think you can learn how to be a good coach in the hardest environment in club football, other than Real Madrid.
Not in Chelsea. I think Chelsea genuinely is the place where now officially careers go to die.
Yeah.
Like, everyone that seems like, don't get me wrong, Liam Delap clearly isn't like a top footballer, but he's not as bad as what he's showing at Chelsea. I feel like if you're not a good player and you go to Chelsea, you're going to look a million times worse. And the good players, you go there, you might have a good couple of months, and then the environment gets too much for you, and then everything else just changes. And then, like, you see someone like Cole Palmer who scored God knows how many goals. And now, personally, when he didn't make it to the World Cup squad, I was like, yeah, he shouldn't be, because he doesn't look like a good footballer at the minute. Like,
this is I mean, I think they've been an incredible managerial hire. I think, you know, I think if Xabi Alonso can't make this work, no one can. Of the sort of managers they could have kind of got. But that's how I'm not sure that anyone can make it work. I don't believe that. You know, even now they've hired Alonso, you still speak to player agents, and they're like, Chelsea wouldn't be our number one target, our number one option. And, you know, Chelsea is West London, it's living out in Cobham. It ticks every single box for a footballer, except now the one that's really important, which is, does it help my career?
Yeah. Can I win there? Will I not be made a fool of? Will I be treated like with any sort of common decency? Because that's another thing as well. You look at someone like Chalobah, right? The way they treated Chalobah, I'm not being funny, is so disgraceful.
Oh, Lord.
And I actually cannot believe he managed to find a way back there. Because from personal pride point of view, I would have been like, get me out of it. I don't even want to be here anymore. Like, it was disgraceful what they did to him, honestly. And a lot of players looking at that, surely that's on their radar as well.
And I think that's different when it's an elite winning environment and the challenge to. So I mean, this happened to Chalobah under Tuchel, and then he won his place at Chelsea. But it was, if you're not going to help us, we are a club that's trying to win the Champions League. We're trying to win the Premier League.
Yep.
If you're not going to help us do that, we got no time for you. Whereas now it's, you know, you're a piece that we can move around. And
just do whatever we like, pull you back from a loan, and just you know, talk about it like you're rubbish. We'll round up the top 5 before we go back to Arsenal with Aston Villa. Now, I'm really pleased for Unai Emery first and foremost, only because we also have a trophy in the cabinet now as well. But genuinely, I am very, very pleased for him. And I think, without being too disrespectful, I think Villa is just a perfect environment for him, genuinely.
Yeah. It's a big club. It's a great club. Yeah. It's not so big. You know, I mean, I was there for sort of every Unai Emery press conference, sort of operating under that spot. I mean, I'm sure he would do it better now. He's a bit more comfortable with the language. He's a bit more at ease with coaching in the Premier League. But I think he struggles under the spotlight. You can see that in like big Villa games and big Villa moments.
Especially against Arsenal.
Yeah. He kind of makes his coaching can go awry, and what he says in public goes really awry.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he is you know, when people talk about him taking over Man United, I was like, oh.
I had United fans telling me, oh yeah, they're definitely taking on like guys you wouldn't, like, take it from someone that managed to survive him somehow. You wouldn't take him at United, because the simple fact is, on one random Wednesday, he's going to be playing against relegation fodder and start 3 DMs at home.
And that still happened this season.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the XG would tell you that for years, Villa have been a mid-table club. Now, like, clearly, if it's been happening for years, you kind of have to look at it and say, what's the data not catching? There must be something going on here. And that might be that Emery is a good coach.
Yeah.
But like, if he was such a great coach, the XG would be telling you he's a great coach.
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, he's built a good. I love his 4-2-2-2 personally. Yeah. It's really fun. Not that nobody else in the top 6 plays that sort of formation, but you can do that at Villa, because if it doesn't work, it's, well, at least we finish in the top half. Whereas if you do that at Arsenal, it doesn't work. It's like, well, you need to pack your bags basically. And speaking of Arsenal, the champions. In case you guys forgot, we are the champions. I suppose we'll switch gears a little bit here, but Arsenal winning the league the way we done it, kind of thing, throughout the season, the belief didn't really waver, did it?
Inside or outside?
I want to say, and I want to ask inside, because obviously I'm not privy.
No, it didn't. Yeah. No, I mean, like, no doubt there were emotionally testing moments. Yeah. But actually, I was very struck by. I mean, obviously the biggest one is after the City game. It's just that sheer knowledge of like, you know, the Rice moment is the one that got caught on camera. But you'd speak to people, you would sort of be around the club. Yeah. No one really, you know, everyone was sort of saying, and all season long, it was in the high moments as well. You would talk to people and they'd say, "I'm not getting too high yet. We know this isn't going to be a title that we romp to by 7, 8, 9 points." And I think the fact that they knew that meant they could cope with and
just relax.
Yeah. And like, clearly when they got to the finish line, like especially the Burnley game, the West Ham game, it came crash, like the pressure came crashing onto them like a train.
Yeah.
Of course it did.
Yeah.
At some point you can't.
Yeah.
You can't stop feeling.
You're so close, so it's natural. I think. Yeah. I mean, just on that Burnley game, it was so strange because when I saw the lineup, I mean, that is as attacking as you can get. And the game didn't pan out that way. I mean, had Trossard's, shot that hit the post gone in that early, then maybe we win 3 or 4. But the pressure, I don't know, you could just feel it, right?
But look, I mean, when they got in front and like towards the end, they panicked.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't panic, but they got tight.
Antsy, yeah.
But actually, there was a real clarity of thought in what they wanted to do. Yeah. And, no one was talking about, all the fans were talking about goal difference. Yeah. My post-match piece there was like, have they blown this by not, because they could, after the Burnley game, they couldn't win the title on goal difference. Yeah. So it was like, have they blown this? And it was actually like, no, we know what we need to do, just win all our games.
Yeah. And
it was really ugly. It was not like the best Arsenal football, but like within themselves, they found a way
and got to it.
Yeah.
I think it was just quite ironic that we won it on a set piece. And, the player that's been, for me personally, he's like, Kai Havertz is never ever going to be like in my bad books. I think he's just done too much. And I feel like his character itself is just, he's too big of a personality for me to really have anything bad to say about him. I'm really glad he's the one that essentially got the clincher, because in the big moments, Kai Havertz actually has been there for us quite a lot. You think of that run towards the end of the 23-24 season, between him and Saka, like especially him, they were mauling teams on their own pretty much. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
He brings the best out of every single player around him. Yeah. And I think what's really lovely about someone like Havertz is, it's a horrible time for him early in his life. In England, Arsenal felt like an escape for a little while. It didn't look like it was going to be. And then he won them over, and he is, he's beloved, isn't he? I mean, you wander around the Emirates on a sort of, when he's around the team, it's his chant gets sung as loudly as, of course, Gabriel's, Saka's.
Whenever
say Odegaard, but not Odegaard.
We'll get on Odegaard. Whenever the announcer announces the team sheet and it gets to his name, you can just feel the stadium just erupt. Like, he is loved, and it doesn't always translate online, but Kai Havertz is loved, and rightly so. Like, he's a big game player, And
we know why it doesn't translate online.
Oh, it's Chelsea.
The people online. You take a starting point at the moment a player signs, and you cannot waver in that.
No,
that's
the online space.
But that's also not how you think.
No,
like, you can't be thinking that way. I thought Kai Havertz was overpriced when Arsenal signed him, and now I think it's a lovely bit of business.
Yeah, it genuinely is, and I think it's not, like he obviously he can score more goals, but for what he brings to the team and the fact that, he had this, he's had some big injuries at Arsenal, but physically he doesn't look like he's actually dropped off. He actually looks stronger. The way he ran away from that PSG defense, I'm like, oh my God, like, this is someone that's clearly in his physical prime despite all of the injuries. So
he should have got man of match in the final.
Yeah.
Him or Gabriel. I mean, he kind of have to take it off Gabby for missing a penalty.
Yeah. I mean, he ran himself to the ground, honestly.
Incredible.
James, your biggest surprise this season? This could be Premier League, this could be in Europe.
Biggest surprise of the season. I mean, from a Premier League perspective, I can't believe how bad Tottenham was.
Can you? They finished 17th last year, so.
Well, but it was a different kind of 17th. Like,
it was.
They were same problem again this season. They were absolutely brutalised by injuries.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I think the only team that was worse than them was potentially us at points.
Yeah, I mean, and like this season, it's just been the roles of reverse. It's been Spurs 1, Arsenal 2.
Yeah,
and they understandably just tanked the season because they knew they were safe, and they had the Europa League to think about. I kind of got it from Ange's perspective. Yeah. But this season, like, they were never safe.
It wasn't until like literally, well, it went to the last day, but I feel like when we beat West Ham, that's when I was like, oh, okay, Tottenham might actually stay up. But up until Trossard's goal, I'm like, oh my gosh, Tottenham could actually go down.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually a possibility, and I was praying for it. I can't lie.
I mean, look, I have to say I was intrigued by what the story would be of next season if they were in the Championship, and they gave it a really good go. They are so far, like, I think that what this season's taught me is they are so far off the levels. Like, if they get their recruitment right in the summer, if De Zerbi keeps calm, and I thought he got them playing good football with a level they had. If all that goes right, they'd probably finish about 10th. And I think if you'd said to me at the start of the season, imagine that Frank is perfect, every player they've signed is an 8, 9 out of 10. Where will they finish? I'd have said 5th, 6th. But they have gone so far off their level to twice.
Yeah, they are. I genuinely think they are. Don't get me wrong, they're a good side now, and I think with De Zerbi, they're going to obviously not finish 17th. But when we talk about surgery needing to be done, they're probably the biggest case in the Premier League, I think, right now for what they need and where they want to be. The gap in improvement, I think they've got the biggest bridge to gap. Honestly, like gap to bridge, should I say?
Should I do an Arsenal one?
Go on.
I was quite pleasantly surprised by Eberechi Eze.
Well, how good he was. Okay.
I didn't think it was good. I was really pleased that Arsenal signed him because it was a wonderful story. He was an exciting player at that specific moment with Havertz going down.
That's good business, yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah.
And there's still question marks about him. And I wonder if it was the absolute smartest way to spend that money. There is one of those things that, like, American sport, the Cronkies will know this, like, banners fly forever. You don't have to apologise for the guy that won you some games. Might not be in Palace, might not be in Newcastle, that is. And I think that's what I didn't appreciate, was that he might have 6 games where you're like, Ebs, what you doing?
Yeah.
But in that 7th, he'll do the thing that wins you a game you wouldn't have won otherwise. That's something for me to remember.
That's something that I think we just didn't have in the squad, because Ebs is, for me, the sort of player that, I go to Selhurst Park quite regularly, and I'd watch him and I'd be like, Ebs hasn't done anything for 10 minutes, and they'll put one in the top corner. I'm like, there he is. Fair enough. That's literally how he was. Like, the Palace fans and the managers, like whether it was Vieira, Glasner, whoever, they'd be like, Eb, they'll be shouting and whatever, and he'll be like, he'll turn around and be like, I've heard you. He'll get on the ball and beat 2-3 players. Like, he just knows how and when to turn it on, kind of thing. And I feel like the environment at Arsenal, we just didn't have a player like that just had, when he's in the mood, he's genuinely just in the mood. Nobody else in our squad can do what he does. And I feel like one of the biggest underrated parts of his game is his ball striking with both feet. Like, most chances that fall to players on the edge of the box aren't good chances, but for Ebs, they are. I feel like there's a good chance he's going to hit the target, or he's going to score. You know what I mean? And that's just a quality that you kind of allow for him, not having 70 touches like Odegaard. You know what I mean? You just have to allow for that, because he's going to put on the corner eventually. So yeah, like that's actually a really good segue. So your favourite non-Arsenal moment of the season?
Ooh. I think for realising what you were seeing, Estevao at the back post for Chelsea to beat Liverpool. It was sort of like a moment where immediately you grasp in that instance. And I mean, they lost sort of 2 or 3 games beforehand. They lost to sort of Palace, but like obviously going back to the top, I thought they were going to win the league, and you suddenly realise, no, this is a season-defining moment. It is. Liverpool are not what we thought they were.
No.
And I mean, I don't think it's been like a season of hugely memorable moments. I think, like, as much as Arsenal fans get a bit touchy about, we are drifting up a bit.
Yeah.
As much as, like, Arsenal fans get a bit touchy about all this, it's not been a great season. It's not been like a season of vintage moments. I suppose Harry Wilson against Liverpool will be another one.
Oh yeah,
what a goal!
Was it Harry Wilson, or was it what was his name? It wasn't Harry Wilson. It was somebody else that came off the bench. He put into the top corner, right?
That's Wilson, isn't it?
It wasn't Wilson.
It's the goal game where
at Craven Cottage, right?
Yeah, and Liverpool go 2-1 up,
and it was late, very very late.
Yeah, I thought that was Wilson.
It wasn't. I've forgotten his name. Was it Ken? It wasn't Kenny. It might have been Kenny actually.
You might be right.
Yeah, it was on his right foot, because I remember, because I walked out the living room and I walked back. I was like, hang on a second, what the fuck is happening here?
Incredible.
Yeah, a crazy goal. Okay, cool. So Estevao. Okay, all right, James. So gonna put in a bit of a spot here. So Premier League team of the season.
Yeah, back 5. That picked itself. I would say it's Raya, Timber, Gabriel Saliba. Saliba Gabriel, and then Nico O'Reilly.
Good pick.
I think Robin Reeves has been pretty good, Verbruggen as well. But yeah, goalkeeper's got to be Raya. Then I'm going to play a 2-2, because I just don't think there's been that many great wingers this season. So I'll have Rice and Anderson sitting, and then I will have Dominic Szoboszlai and Bruno Fernandes, of course. I mean, you have to have him, even if it is a lot of set pieces. Szoboszlai and Fernandes is sort of dual tens. So I'm going to need my strikers to drift wide, which I'm worried about. But give me Erling Haaland and Igor Thiago. Show up! Me Erling Haaland and João Pedro.
Do you know what? I'm not mad at that. I feel like João Pedro suffered from the what's the word I'm looking for? The 3 PMs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Chelsea's sort of swift decline to being like no longer box office.
Yeah.
Really did him quite dirty. We're struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah. So the 3 PMs I think for João Pedro were the inverse for Igor Thiago.
Yeah.
I think basically.
Igor Thiago was like Monday night, 8 p.m. People were sort of watching through the corner of your eye, and then you go, oh, he scored again.
Yeah.
I mean, he's brilliant. Like that would be the top 3 forwards with then Semenyo as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I should have a Bournemouth player in there.
I mean, Cook. Truffel's excellent, to be fair. Cook as well, I think. I watched Cook twice live this season. So once at Selhurst Park, once here at Emirates. And both times I thought like he was arguably the best midfielder on the pitch, maybe even the best player. I think he's fantastic. And he'll probably get a move this summer as well, I think. Really, really good player. But yeah, okay. Team of the season, I have no arguments there. As long as the Arsenal defence and Rice is represented, everybody else can kind of do whatever they like because they're not champions.
Exactly.
So the next part we're going to play a game and it's going to be a visual aid. So those of you guys that are not on YouTube, you guys want to get on YouTube now. First thing I want to do, I want to show James some pictures and he can just tell me his own sort of, in his own words, what he remembers from that night or day or that match in particular. So it's not going to go in chronological order, just so you guys know. So we'll just throw it at him. So the first one is, if you guys can see, this is Brighton away.
Oh, I loved that day. So, I mean, like the game itself, I was much more impressed than a lot of other people. I mean, like there's sort of really interesting practical things about being a reporter. So we were sort of up high. The Wi-Fi was terrible, which meant I kind of didn't have access to like the stats and stuff that I find helpful, but sometimes can be a bit of a crutch. And I was watching the game. And it was that feeling that was quite common throughout the season, but it was really noticeable this time of like, oh, Arsenal are a goal up, but I feel like this could go for another 5 hours and they would concede. And they were brilliant. But obviously, look, for me, the highlight of that entire day was that what came after. I mean, Fabian Herzler going mad. I mean, look, as a journalist, this is what you want. You want people to help make great stories. I think this was the day it really became apparent that, you know, Arsenal were what we called the intolerables. That was at least everyone sort of had a go at one, and I don't think the intolerables quite took off, but that's what we went for at CBS. And just Mikel Arteta afterwards, when I sort of said, Fabian Herzler thinks you're ruining the game, and the way he just went, what's a surprise? And there's another bit as well where he's like, we must be the most loved players, the most loved team, because everyone is always talking about us. And I just thought, like, I mean, it was a moment, I think, where Arsenal embraced, no one likes us, we don't care. I mean, it was like Arsenal embracing their inner Millwall. And they kind of did win the title in the sort of elite Millwall way, which I enjoyed. And
I think for me, it was all of that combined with the fact that the fans in the away end had their radios out, like, you know, like it's 1995 again, and they're listening to that. And then the city
15
roar,
minutes after, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then the roar just came through, and we're just, funny story. So I'm watching it at home. My friend's watching it on, I'll put in quotes here, stream. And obviously I'm watching it on Sky at home. So he's a bit behind. So he rings me. He's begging for the full-time whistle. I'm like, they're still playing, but it's like 30 seconds left. Just give me. So he's like, no, blow the whistle. He can't contain himself basically. And I was like, it doesn't matter because we won. And he's like, no, but they're going to drop points. And I switched it back on just as the clearance from, I think, Murillo happened.
Murillo, yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch this game in full because I wouldn't have been able to take it, honestly. Next one. So you can hold this one up. So this is the, you know what it is.
That is Big Gabby.
Yes, at Newcastle away. So tell us what you made of that day. Would you get up there?
No, don't go to Newcastle, mate. Too far.
Yeah.
Well, that's an overnighter. I don't like doing them unless it's Manchester. again, that was like the first moment because it was. I struggle to like place it in the chronology of the season. Because a lot of it mattered about what was happening with Liverpool, but it did feel like Liverpool had picked up a lot of early points. Obviously, they'd beaten Arsenal, and things might have slipped away for Arsenal. Of course, that was not true. That was obviously not true. But in the moment, you were like, I don't know that Arsenal can afford to let one drop here. I don't know that the title doesn't get very out of hand very quickly. It's getting very windy.
Yeah.
You've gone too low now.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah. It doesn't get very out of hand very quickly if Arsenal don't win this. And yeah, I mean, it was a masterclass of Arsenal, being aggressive, direct when they needed to. I mean,
I think Eza was fantastic that day.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Odegaard coming off the bench late on. And I mean, I thought Odegaard was the disappointment of the season. But the thing was, he was such a disappointment because when the mood took him and when he was fit and ready to go,
he was like literally our best player.
Yeah, he was still one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And that was the frustrating part. And then, I mean, set piece. I think you sort of, I think you can hold two thoughts at once. I think the sort of set piece revolution is a challenge for the game of football, but I think it's brilliant to be the ones challenging the game of football.
Yeah.
Like, whilst the rules are what the rules are, you should be doing what Arsenal are doing, and you can't do it as well as Arsenal do it.
And I think the underrated part of it is that you just have Saka and Rice. Like, these set pieces don't work without their delivery. Their delivery makes people panic. I remember 24-25, City away, Saka put about 3 crosses in from corners, 3 in a row that were all nukes. Yeah. And what else can you do? Like, if the delivery is that good, it doesn't matter how well you set up, the goalkeeper is stranded because it's got so much pace on it, so much dip on it, and you've got Gabriel. Yeah. So I feel like people overstate, Arsenal do this. No, our delivery is what makes it more than anything. So, yeah, I mean, Gabriel scoring the winner from a corner.
Off an incredible Rice delivery, wasn't it?
Yeah. Was it?
Was that Marino was the Rice delivery?
It was Marino, and then it was Odegaard for Gabriel. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so the next one. One of probably my favorite game of the season from a tactical perspective, if it will allow me to pull it out. You have a look at that and tell me what you think.
Oh, yeah. See, a lot of the time what I remember is what I said and what I wrote.
Yeah.
So that's the Arsenal 3, Bayern Munich 1 game, which was incredible football.
Yeah. It was, I feel like, when you talk about...
best Arsenal played this season.
Yeah. When you talk about elite level football, to me, that's what the future looks like. It looks like 2 teams that recognize both their strengths and will just sit on top of each other until somebody budgets, basically. And fortunately for Arsenal that night, I think we did.
So they were stronger, more athletic, more dynamic, had so many options off the bench. I think, it's still the best Arsenal played this season. It's probably the vision of what, like, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal are. Arteta's Arsenal are not, like, grinding it out against away to West Ham. That's just kind of what the Premier League makes you be at that point in the season. Yeah. And you need to I think like if Arsenal had luck on their side this season, they'd still have been playing that way. Injury luck, they'd still be playing that way in
March,
April, May. Yeah. And then they would have given that's how they then could go up against PSG and win. But players were all, they
were shagged out, to be honest. Yeah. Just looking back on because I think PSG and Bayern played 3 times this season, and 2 of those games were pretty much both teams was going for it. And obviously Enrique recognized, I think, in the 3rd game that, do you know what, we don't actually need to do this way. We're better than Bayern. We can defend better than them. And I think Bayern kind of got sucked into the whole game of, let's try and, play football against each other, we're
obviously not talking Bayern here, but I think Vincent Kompany has proven himself to be an elite coach in probably every way other than the kind of, what he's done is play a really strong 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 hybrid that gets all of Bayern's best players in the best positions. Yeah. Kind of what Luis Enrique can do is do a bit more of those tactical adjustments that get his team across the line that adapt to the opponents.
Yeah. I think he's more cynical. And I think we often associate cynicism with negativity. Cynicism to me just means you recognize where you can be hurt and you mitigate for it more than anything. And obviously some people overcorrect. Mourinho.
which is why, people forget about the Champions League final. PSG they're 1-0 down and they had 6 players behind the ball.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. because again,
because he was scared of what Arsenal could do to them if he didn't.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like being Arsenal fans and, in the online space, you kind of have to suck it up and be like, this is what people are going to say, whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite game of the season, for sick man reasons, I'll say, because it didn't mean anything in the end. But you have a look at that and tell me what you think.
Oh, this game. This is what I think it is.
Yes.
It's a loss to Bournemouth.
Yes.
So I have seen the goals from this game. I was at a wedding.
Yeah.
I remember as the bride walked down literally, this is the sort of thing that people think is made up.
Yeah.
As the bride walked down the aisle, I just went, oh, fuck's sake. Not so I know she's not hurt. I'm not so glad that she could hear it, but that was when Alex Scott scored the winner. Yeah. And you just knew, that even when you're not watching the game.
You know what?
I saw a bit in the first half.
Yeah.
Even when you're not watching the game, you sort of know, you're like, no. This day is not going to be Arsenal's day.
No.
I thought everything, this was a moment when Mikel Arteta and I had a bit of falling out about, just after about how he sort of framing team news. And I did think it was like he built this energy around the ground. And there was all these hopes that Timber will be back, Erdegaard will be back, Saka will be back. And then even before the game, I think it built up so much for like a Saturday 12:30 kickoff. And then if the team news comes on, it's like, oh, and then the team start badly, and it just suddenly sort of was the one moment I think he got the club management wrong.
Yeah. I feel the whole day, because he was telling us to bring up dinners and all of that. Yeah.
I mean, I love that he knew. Was it John Sitton? I love that he sort of couldn't help but reference that. I mean, that's a proper.
That's one of my favorite football memes ever. It's so iconic. All right. So the bad news doesn't stop. We've got another game here. We've got one more after this, but you tell me. Yeah,
this was I still stand by. Yeah, this is the moment where I said the only team that could. Well, actually, it was about 5 times where I said, yeah. I had to sort of choose like a triptych or a two-parter. No, not a triptych, two-parter. Double-hander of how I was writing about Arsenal. So this is what, February? This is a 2-2 draw, right?
I think so, yeah.
Not the 2-1 win. And after the United game, where Arsenal just lost their cool for a bit, and they got beaten by some wonder goals, but they also lost their cool. I was like, the only team that can beat Arsenal
is Arsenal.
And this was the game where it was like, and Arsenal are doing that. The strange thing is, kind of going back to what we were saying on top, away from the pitch, they didn't get too high, they didn't get too low. But then there were moments on the pitch where I was just like, you guys are losing your minds.
Yeah.
Moments, and for that, I didn't even think, how could that be the pressure of the title race? It was so far away at that point. Like, whatever it was, they just lost their minds.
Yeah.
And there were half a dozen moments this season. A lot of it was just like boneheaded, bad luck. But I think, she's getting very winded.
Yeah.
There were several moments this season where I was just like, what are you doing to yourselves? You are the best, you're one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah. I don't think at any point Arsenal have fallen below, in my estimation, in terms of performance levels and just quality, lower than third in the world this season, at least. I think if we're talking
except that half hour against Wolves.
Yeah.
We're about third in the championship.
Pretty much, yeah. We were terrible. But looking across Europe, mitigating circumstances, I think Barcelona have hit some ridiculous heights this season. Obviously PSG as well. And we're right there as well. It doesn't look like their football, doesn't look like them. No. But in terms of the actual performance levels, we could match them pretty easily.
We just saw the best team in the world needed a penalty to score against Arsenal, and if they hadn't got that penalty,
they weren't scoring.
No.
The final one, I think you know it's coming.
I really hope it's what I hope. Oh no! I didn't think it would be that.
Go on.
Where's my Max Diamond moment?
Oh no.
It's the home derby.
I think that's been.
This is the derby at home, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
I preferred the derby away.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think
because they deliberately sat me and Charles.
Yeah.
I don't know if they deliberately, but they'd sat me and Charles right by the Spurs fans.
Oh wow, okay.
So we just got
in that big stadium. They knew what they did.
Huge stadium. There were plenty of other places, but and just sort of soaking up the atmosphere of those games. But that was really like. It's one of those moments where it sort of strikes you that actually there are people out there that are living your dream, or like the dream of probably people watching this and playing for their boyhood club.
Yeah.
And it means more. Like it just means like, I mean, you kind of where we are now, I can sort of see that smile that Ebbs has, and even though like I kept thinking the season would end with him scoring the winner at Selhurst Park to win the title, and I'm a little bit.
He almost did in a way.
It should have.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit disappointed it didn't, because it would have been such a satisfying narrative bow on the whole thing. But it did feel like in the best moments of the season, it felt like we were living in the movie of Eberecieza's life.
Yeah,
and I thought like that was a reminder that like sometimes you can just, and this goes back to what I was saying about Ebbs before. Sometimes you can get a little bit like into the weeds on this stuff, and then you should take a step back and see that like, right, sometimes just these being special moments for special footballers, that is what the game's about.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, because I've seen it. So Iwobi for me was the sort of create a player sort of dream Arsenal for me. Like he ended up playing for, like, if I was ever to be a professional footballer, I would have selected to play for Nigeria rather than England anyway. Okay. And then he gets to play for Arsenal as well. So for me, Iwobi already lived the dream. But then to see Saka come through and then see Ebbs come through the way he did, leaving Arsenal, it's like, can it be any more perfect than this? Like, it really just doesn't get any better than that.
And honestly. I think this, I mean, like, I think Bakayo's story is incredible. I've been really lucky to chronicle it from like when he's playing Papa John's trophy. But I think there's something that's even like 1% more special about having to get here
the hard way,
the even harder way. Yeah. About you have to, you get all these tryouts and they don't go your way, and you build up slowly and you're incredible at Millwall and you get your move to Palace and you are a legend at Palace, but everyone thinks you're a bit too old.
Yeah.
And you're maybe your moment's gone. It's not sensible to buy Eberechieze because he was 26 when he signed. He's 27 now. Is that right? But it just feels right emotionally, and like that. I keep looking at it because he is magnetic.
I feel like his personality, and I think obviously you'll be able to tell me more about this, but from what I've heard, his sort of personality in the change room is the change that we kind of needed in terms of him being relaxed, but there's a seriousness in his approach as well. It's like he will take things, he won't particularly take setbacks to heart, and he'll be able to offer perspective because of what he's been through, basically. Whereas some of these players, he's come into Arsenal into essentially an elite performing team with all the pressure, and he's come off, living the dream at Palace kind of thing. So he doesn't have that pressure kind of.
Yeah. So we can say this now. I mean, they pushed back at the time, but he was dropped after Villa for his defence. And I think there was a worry. I mean, I think it's natural to think, how's he going to take that? How is he going to, this is a guy that has been a star player, has won trophies for a growing Premier League team. How is he going to take being told, you're not, if you're playing at this level, you're not starting.
Yeah.
You're not going to do what you want to do. And you still get minutes, but he had to accept that he was out the strongest ever. And he just pretty at ease about the whole thing. And he applied himself to improve. And, Arteta was blown away. And I know other people at Arsenal as well were just sort of blown away by how he responded to that. And like you say, I think his presence was a needed presence in the dressing room. And I mean, almost thing of like, there's a big leadership group, Timber, Marino, Rice, Saka, Ødegaard, Gabriel. I think what happens with Ezra is you get that leader who sits outside the sort of informal,
he's almost like
structure.
Someone that the mediator, obviously,
because I think he can, because he's not like the guy going to Mikel Arteta like Ødegaard or Rice or Gabriel would be to discuss. He can sort of be the voice of the rest of the squad, and I think he's played that role phenomenally. And I think those are the other things that, when I kind of look at the data, those things don't shine through, but they make Arsenal a better place.
Yeah.
And he just, I mean, like this, if you haven't seen his press conference before whatever European game it was, I was just like, if everyone else feels like Eza, they'll win the league.
Yeah. I feel like he had two moments. That was one of them. And there was the one after, I think it was Newcastle maybe, where he basically told the Sky Sports pundits that they talk too much rubbish, basically. Yeah. Those two moments for me, I feel like are examples where the fan base the attitude they need to adopt. And I feel like if the players are feeling that way, then you as a fan have no right not to feel any other way than how they're feeling. Because if they can recognize that the media and everybody else are talking rubbish, basically, and also the fact that they're relaxed about their own sort of fortunes, because he said when we win, not if we said when we win, then we have to kind of get behind these guys. Like, we have he's given us no choice but to. So yeah, I feel like his presence has not only been like a positive on the pitch kind of thing, but for the actual sort of mood around the club, I feel like he's been almost like a lightning rod in a way, you know. So yeah, I'm pleased with it. We've got one more sort of thing before we get to questions. James, any transfer talk at all?
I mean, look, I think I would expect Arsenal to be ambitious and aggressive. What I would not expect is a big volume of transfers.
Okay.
And that's really like kind of what Arsenal understand about the position they're in. You know, you're looking at a fullback potentially, and younger prospects. You know, everyone's heard about the Jeremy Monga talks, and that's what that could happen during the World Cup. I am not, you know, we know as well that they really like Morgan Rogers. They really like Junior Krupi. My expectation, and this is more of a prediction based on information I have rather than information I have. My expectation is they'll take their time. They know that kind of the next level for them is like
the forward
superstar attacker in the forward line. And that player might not be available now, but might be available in July, might be available in August. And what you don't want to do is do the deal for the player that you quite like and then miss out on the one you know would change. I mean, like, look, it wouldn't be surprising if Morgan Rogers is in an Arsenal shirt next season. But I don't think they're going to rush to do anything before they really fully know what the shape of the market is, and that can change with World Cups. That can change.
And I think as well, what's important to understand is that Arsenal are operating from a position of strength as well. We're not like, everyone knows we want forwards. Okay, cool, but this is a team that won without these forwards already. So I think that's a position we haven't been in a very, very long time. So some of the negotiations may come down to the actual players themselves helping us essentially be like, look, I want this move. What can we do to make it happen, kind of thing, rather than us going into the club saying, guys, we want your player, kind of thing, and they're just sitting there like, okay, well, this is our price, kind of thing. So I think that's a really, really good point there. All right, so listener questions. We've got about, I don't know, not more than 10, maybe about 10. But the first one I'm going to go from Blue Skies, from the Big Joker. He says, how do you feel about the criticism about PL football in general? Is it too slow and plodding, or is it just part of the cyclical nature? Does that even matter at all?
It is a bit too slow and plodding. I mean, I thought it was really interesting. Like, I remember sort of saying to Arteta in like Marchish, I was like, don't you worry that set pieces are ruining the game? And he was like, but we have to do this because so many teams are sort of setting up in mid blocks to disrupt us. I think the real challenge we have in the league that I don't know how easy it is to solve is, has it become so athletic and technical that you can cover a lot more of the pitch with 11 players than you used to. So you know, I think we sort of see that from the Arsenal side of like, you can cover the pitch with Saliba and Gabriel on the halfway line. But actually it also means if you're Fulham are a bad example because they're not very athletic. If you're Bournemouth, if you're Sunderland, even Wolves, the guys you have leading your defense on the front line of your defense are so technically strong at breaking out and physically strong at breaking out that you kind of have to account for that. You have to, because why did Man City not win the title? Because they got run through by the mid-table. Mid-table teams would come and put 2 goals on them off counter-attack. You know, Man United, that's what it is. And like, I don't know how you solve that. I mean, obviously I'm not a manager. That is the real challenge, is that like, the players are too athletic.
I think one of the things that we're trying to look at, if you look at what we've added in the last one or what we're linked with now, is having players that can track the ball from 30 yards. Just break the game open.
This year, Arteta's become obsessed with moments players. Like people that do something he doesn't know is coming. He's obsessed with it. he was not.
Yeah.
Like, he was not when he was hiring Zinchenko
Yeah.
and Jesus. Like, they're not Jesus is. You know what I mean? Like, they're not
going to essentially do something like, 60th minute, the game's at a gridlock, and they pick the ball up from 35 yards, carry it a few yards, and then put it in the bottom corner from
Well, Jesus would do that and miss.
Yeah, exactly. But, someone like what Eze would do, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Against Bayer Leverkusen,
and it's tolerating that those guys might do nothing for the other 89 minutes.
Basically, which I think is a fair balance. I feel like my dream front line always in a 3 is always going to be your striker who can pin defenders and run in behind, your wide playmaker, and then your wide forward who just makes runs in behind all day long. I feel like that's the perfect balance of the 3. And I feel like with Saka we have the wide playmaker. With Gyökeres, we have that profile. Maybe quality is still up for debate
as well.
Havertz as well, obviously. But then that genuine threat in behind on the left was Martinelli, but he doesn't have the technical level, for me at least, isn't high enough.
No,
and I feel
it's time for Martinelli to go.
Yeah, I think that might be one of our questions actually about Martinelli. The next question on Blue Sky was: Will Arteta release the handbrake next season and play really attacking football like in 23-24, or will he continue to be cautious and safety first?
It's just that's not what Arsenal were trying to do. Yeah. It's kind of more what the game forced upon them.
Yeah.
They would, we've seen that. Like, I think a lot of it will depend on full fitness. It's notable that Zafar Iqbal has left after a big review in the medical setup.
Was that always coming then? Because that was a big shock to me.
Well, the review had been carried out in the back end of the season. I don't believe the recommendations were made until the whole season was over. So, it wasn't a guarantee. It wasn't a lot, but I think Arsenal knew something had to improve because it's not been good enough. The fitness and the availability hasn't been good enough, and it's clear that Arteta's frustrated about that. So let's be honest, some of it is his fault because his players have to deliver a lot athletically. I think that the handbrake gets released when it can, whatever the season, and I think it will be a bit looser because Arsenal will feel a bit more at ease in games. It will be a bit looser because they'll probably get some better attacking players. But I mean, fundamentally, Arsenal are going to be a team that looks to control the game, wants to keep it possession in the attacking third, wants to protect against breakaways and trust their player to win the game from there. And it has worked pretty well. Yeah.
Okay, we have... let's have a look at the questions we've got on Instagram. So... we have from Scarlett. Oh wow, I can only ask one. She's asked quite a few. Okay, so how do you think the Champions League final will influence our play style next season? On one hand, it took our game model to its logical extreme, and it nearly worked. On the other hand, the lack of attacking impetus and talent was clear to see. Given this approach, is how we've got to where we have. Are we likely to see much given that next season?
Yeah, I mean, the model itself doesn't really change.
No,
like the way of playing. Look, Arsenal hunkered down more than they'd have liked to. And I think, a lot of that is about what PSG do to you. They're so hard to press. I thought Arsenal pressed them pretty well. They made it hard for PSG to get the ball up quickly. But the ball got there. The ball got through Arsenal's midfield. I think the big thing that actually changes isn't how Arsenal play, it's who they play with.
Yeah.
It's the talent level of the front three.
That's always been to improve. That's what's always been my sort of...
And it's really hard because actually, as much as Martinelli isn't the player he was, as much as you could get a better player than Trossard, there's not a lot of players that you're like, right, he is a S-tier attacker, he is available, we can afford him. I don't know who those guys... I literally
there's one player that I thought, okay, great. Because of the tension of the club, it could happen kind of thing. But then I looked at his wages, I was like, okay, it's not happening. And that's obviously Vinicius.
Vinicius, yeah. I mean, and the other part of that is, maybe Vinicius is the player you make an exception for. Well, if Vinicius
480 grand a week, I don't know.
No. If Vinicius doesn't track back, Saka probably does, but I don't know if I want to test that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I want to gamble on losing the defensive qualities of this team, which is one of the best defensive teams ever.
Yeah.
For Vinicius Junior.
Yeah.
So, Kvaratskhelia is the dream. I mean, I know they've touched base around Yildiz.
Yeah.
I don't think that's one that can happen. I don't. Maybe it's one that can happen if you make Juventus, who aren't in the Champions League, an offer they can't refuse. But that's a huge amount of money.
I would love to screw with Juventus. I can't even lie.
But like, how much do you have to pay Juventus for Yildiz?
Yeah.
Versus your certainty that he is the best winger you can get.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the player. Don't get me wrong. But again, if we're looking about improving Arsenal the way we need to improve, is Yildiz better than our other attackers, or is he on the same level as them? That's the question.
Because the other part of that is, I mean, like, Creepy is another example of like a player that doesn't like enhance your chances of winning a Champions League final next season. And I do think Arsenal are in a position where they're allowed to just say, what makes us most likely to win a Champions League final? That's what next season. Like this core and this sort of journey, it deserves that. And you don't, but you obviously you do have to have your eye on the future in this game as well. This isn't the NBA. You don't get to tank. You need to be in the Champions League every year.
Yeah. We have a Tottenham question here from Jason Wright. He says, "Will De Zerbi get what he needs? Will he look at last season as a turning point in Spurs history, where we say we've taken the business seriously, but now it's time for sport? Because obviously we know what they've done off the pitch." Yeah.
I mean, in terms of funds, yes, like there will be good money there, not as much as they would get if they qualified for the Champions League, but like the wage bill is very well oriented, and I think there's an acknowledgement from the sort of senior figures in the club that like there is room to spend, and we should use that room. There's no value in being, having an SCR of like 55 or even lower than that. What are you doing if not putting that money you make on the pitch?
Exactly. Yeah.
And like the players they're trying to sign, Senesi in particular, does address the problem that they have a squad of players that very few of them pass the football. But like that's the thing, you need to go and buy a whole new midfield.
Oh yeah, that's been the striking thing for me about Tottenham in the last couple of years. Their midfield, for all intents and purposes, is rubbish.
I mean, I think Conor Gallagher is one of the best versions of his type of midfielder that there is. It's just every other player is a low touch, up and down the field, contribute around both boxes, but kind of give you very little ball progression, especially through passing. That's all of what their midfielders are. Bergvall is probably the best young version of that. But you need someone to pass the ball. Yeah,
they just don't have it. And I remember Ezra coming off the bench at White Hart Lane, just calling everyone trash. I was like, yeah, you're right, because they wasn't getting near Arsenal that game. Next question, Man City questions from Charlie, Sharpie Charlie. He asked, under Maresca, will City still have the best attack in the Premier League?
Still got Haaland.
Yeah.
Still got Doku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anybody that wants to be better than City attacking wise next season, you're going to have to spend PSG money, I think. Pretty much. I mean, I've enjoyed watching City like be rubbish this season, but watching them attack is still pretty scary.
They say that attack is going nowhere. I mean, because you've got the best player getting the ball into the box, you've got the best player playing the final pass in Cherki, and then you've got the best finisher. So they are going to be the best attack. I suppose the interesting thing is, like, the bar is impossibly high because, you think like, how did Guardiola win the title in 22-23? He came up with a sort of a new tactical meta approach of, I'm going to put four big, strong centre backs in the back of the pitch. They're going to dominate my duels. One of them will step up into midfield. I basically have 5 back, 5. And everyone was doing it, and it solved the Premier League season. And City went from like not looking like they were good enough to catch and not that good Arsenal to like steamrolling the league.
Yeah.
Like, until he does it, you have to assume Enzo Maresca can't do that because Pep is one of about half a dozen coaches in history that I think could do that in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, even like someone like Sir Alex didn't do that. Like, Sir Alex is one of the greatest managers of all time, but he didn't change the way that football was played mid-season.
I feel like, and Dean's going to make sure that he pressed me for this, but he got the idea off Arteta. Because we played Liverpool, I think, in October that season, and we played for essentially, quote-unquote, 4 centre-backs.
That Tomiyasu at left-back.
Yeah. And that game, in terms of like a tactical approach, and that's the way Arsenal played. That was one of Arsenal's best games that season for sure.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, it's people build on these things, don't they? So
I mean,
he saw that, and
yeah.
then what he would do is have Stone, like Pep saw the four centre backs. This is elsewhere as well, but Stones was stepping up into midfield. The back three was like forming that way, which again is sort of kind of a callback to a lot of old like liberos.
That's exactly what
there's no new ideas under the sun, but there are new sort of interpretations of them. And then Arsenal go like, okay, well, give us those four centre backs, but one of them is going to be Ricardo Calafiori,
who does whatever the hell he likes.
Who's the best number 10 other than Ryan Cherky in the league?
He is genuinely so scared. Well, we could talk about Calafiori probably off camera, but I rate him so highly. We have a question from Queen of Jade. She said, what would you say what would you say for each of, okay, this question isn't worded correctly, turning points of the season? If you have your top 3 turning points of the season.
So the Newcastle win away. Beating Everton.
Okay.
Was sort of the moment that I think Arsenal, this ground really started to believe. And then, I mean, it's sort of a toss-up between Newcastle and Fulham, isn't it? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm dreadful at dates. Newcastle was the game directly after City, wasn't it? So I would say Newcastle because, like, what was it? Deep within it's so over, Arsenal found a we're so back. And they actually did. Like, they were like, we are Arsenal. Like, we'll 1-0 this if we have to.
Yeah. Okay. So this is about our left-hander side again. So what do you really think about selling Trossard and Martinelli for decent fees? The left wing market, like you mentioned, is pretty tough. But in terms of like the level, like what would you consider, in terms of fee for Trossard and Martinelli, and what sort of player would you try to replace with both of them, considering both of their qualities?
Yeah, it's a challenge. So I wouldn't sell Trossard because I just don't think the fee you would get is sort of commensurate with the value he's still bringing. If someone's giving me over 30 million for a player his age,
you look at it.
I'd look at it. Look, we've got to bear in mind that this is like the Pro League has not kind of abandoned its ambitions, but it only wants the best of the best. I don't think, from what I sort of hearing, that like there is much appetite now for just going out and buying the players that Premier League teams don't want. So that kind of suppresses your market a bit. Martinelli, I would be willing to do business like over 40. I think, which is a shame because he should be worth a lot more.
I think 40 is very low. I think for what you're getting, 24 years old, Premier League winner, full Brazil international, like he's locked in for the Brazil squad. Yeah. That's a 60 million pound player.
I mean, I expected like that's what I expect Arsenal's stance to be. But look, you've got to make a space in the squad for a new guy to play off the left. And I think, and everyone in the market knows that. So I think it's time to just do a deal on Martinelli. And look, I would say, everyone says Champions League record. There's some great moments in the league phase, but it was in the league phase. I think it's time to sort of, I love Gabriel Martinelli. He's going to be welcome back here with open arms anytime he plays. But I think it's time to say, what an innings, time to move on. Replacements, I mean, obviously the dream is Kvaratskhelia. I would be pretty open to Barcola as well.
Isn't he just like a right-footed Madueke? I'm being controversial here, by the way, but that's the way I view him genuinely.
Yeah, a little bit like sort of Chelsea Madueke gets shots, but he does actually convert the shots, unlike maybe Noni. I mean, that's the thing is you do have Noni to play on the left when you want a pure pace option. So after those two PSG guys, I would probably say Morgan Rogers is the one I'd look at. Yildiz as well, very expensive players. Just not certain that what they give me is is best team in the world levels. That's the challenge. It's really hard.
Do you think there's a world? You know better than me, but do you think there's a world where, again, I've gone back to Vinny, unfortunately, but he potentially takes a pay cut?
No.
Yeah, he's 25 years old. It's going to be 26 soon. This is literally like the big money years. There's no way he takes a pay cut like that.
I don't think he wants to leave Madrid.
Yeah, he shouldn't have to really. A good coach should be able to make both of them play together, Mbappe and him play together. But surely one of them has to go. I really do think it's becoming untenable.
Well, I mean, look, the other thing is, I think I find it incomprehensible that Real Madrid have hired Jose Mourinho after the way he just spoke about Vinicius Junior.
Yeah.
I think any proper, serious sporting organisation would consider those words, even if they were misspoken in the heat of the moment. They would look at them and they'd say, "We're never hiring him."
Yeah.
No sporting organisation is perfect. We know that standing here as well as anywhere. But
yeah.
And so I mean, if I were, I'm very privileged that I would never have to be in the position that Vinny is in. But I can't imagine that I would want to play under a guy that said that.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wouldn't want to play under him saying that about my teammate. But that's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's the thing. Is
There's honestly, I feel like there's a thread like unraveling this summer where, I think there'll be some shock moves. I think looking at the way this season has panned out, a lot of teams will be seeing opportunities everywhere. And I'm going to put my name in the hat. I think Arsenal do sign someone from Real Madrid this summer. I do. I don't know who it is, but I do think we sign someone from Real Madrid. Anyone in that front line, I'm taking, to be honest.
I do agree with that. Yeah. I think even the sort of the Brahim Diaz level guys, well, not like specifically Brahim, because I don't think his skill set fits. But
more like the little Turkish fella. I've forgotten his name.
Arda Güler.
Güler, that's the one. Yes,
he would be fantastic. Because the thing it doesn't really seem like Arsenal think about as much as I think they should think about it is who passes the football into the penalty area. If it's not Martin Ødegaard, who else? I don't know, man.
Yeah. All right, James, you have been a star. Guys, apologies for the dodgy camera angles at points. But we got it done. But we got it out. We got it done. James, thank you so much. We are eternally grateful.
My pleasure.
And you are welcome back anytime. Probably under better circumstances for sure.
Better weather.
Yeah, better weather for sure. But guys, we know how we normally end it. We normally end it with a piece. So James, you know what to tell. Pardon me. You know what to tell the people.
What do I tell people? Peace.